Hey, hi, SAQA. My name's Fuzzy Mall. I'm an artist from Pittsburgh who now lives in Hamilton, Ontario. I specialize in applique portraiture, and I'm often asked how I learned my process and where did I start. Well, after I left school, I went in my basement and I started painting. My work's always been rooted in craft, and my processes incorporated textiles, printmaking, and photography. Next. Piece on the left was from my very first series of paintings. I glued fabric to the canvas to create negative space, which would become the figure. Worried about the archival nature of the glue eventually led me to buying my first sewing machine. Some of these fabrics are still in my stash today. My paintings have always dealt with my personal life. The image on the right is from a series that marked my engagement to my wife. The figures being built up from layers of paint in the backside of old windows that represent domesticity and the homestead. Next. These forest tree paintings started from my love of Mexican tree of life sculptures. I started making this work to kind of send out good vibes while we were trying to have a baby. Uh, they're made from hand cutting large stencils. Some of these pieces reached about 8 feet in height. I want to show you some of these older paintings because they still influence the way I see and construct my current work. Cutting back layers to expose others, then building on top of that to create depth, structure, and color variations. It's very important for artists to remember that everything we've done in the past influences who we are currently and the work that we're going to be making in the future. Next. One winter while I was working a full-time job, starting that family, I went out to my studio to paint and all of my paints were frozen solid. So I needed something to do with my hands. So I appliqued this portrait of James Brown on the back of a hoodie. It was very simple, 3 colors, obviously. And it was, I guess, striking enough that my friends started asking me to make them something as well. Over the next few years, I probably ended up making 40 or 50 of these, just developing my techniques, tightening up my craftsmanship, adding more colors, layers, etc. Next. About 6 years ago, I decided to start hanging my pieces on the wall. This piece is actually a locket that folds in on itself, and a painting is on the backside of Frida Kahlo there. So this is Frida and her husband, Diego Rivera. This piece really serves as a transition point for me. I haven't painted anything since then, and it's also the last time outside of commissions that I've used anyone else's photographs in my work. Next. These are pictures from my Faces of Hamilton project. The one obviously being the one in the Beyond the Mirror show. 4 years ago, our family moved to Canada. This gave me the opportunity to start making on a full-time basis, really for the first time. Since my work had always previously been about my personal life, I realized I was going to run out of subject material pretty quickly. So I came up with this project where I'd meet a new stranger in my town and start asking them questions about my new city. Next. I'd then quilt their portrait. After I'd finish it, I would meet up with them to show it to them and then ask them to send me the next person I should know in town. So I'd set up a lunch date with them, the new participant, take a bunch of photos while I got to know them, chatted. This work was really like a response to the disposable nature of social media. I intended on slowing down this process, handworking these pictures. They often live in the cloud and are swiped away with the finger. Combining the tradition of painted portraits as well as quilts that both become family heirlooms passed down to generations. Next. I often tell people that my work is made up of thrift store clothes and patience. I feel that my patience and care for details, why few people are starting to notice my work. For example, if you look closely at some of these teeth, there might be 8 to 10 layers of fabric just to achieve the proper tone of shadow. Next. My current body of work continues to focus on personal identity and diversity, depicting people of various ages, races, and genders. I capture people in action in personal settings, doing things they love to do. This work is a response to our current media landscape, which is jarring and anxiety-inducing. As an American living in Canada, I've been feeling helpless watching each news cycle. Next. I feel sad, angry, frustrated, and ineffective. I know the stories of school shootings, corporate greed, decaying environment, and corrupt politicians won't stop anytime soon. As a result, I can only focus on localized and momentary happiness. This series portrays people doing simple things that bring them bliss, whether it be gardening, biking, yoga, or playing with a pet. More than ever, I need to see people enjoying life's small moments. Next. Another side project I have in the works is my Kill Your Darling series. William Faulkner coined that term. It refers to killing off major characters to further the good of a novel or an idea. These pieces are all made up of my Faces of Hamilton project. I knew when I was making that work that I was gonna repurpose it somehow. I'm happy with what's going on right now with this work, but truly it's just a stepping stone to what I have planned in the future. So stay tuned. Thank you very much.